This weekend, the Smash Machine drops starring The Rock and Emily Blunt. And I saw the movie last week. And I want to go and do a breakdown of my thoughts of fully more breakdown conversation piece of very, let's say, raw and censored version of the Smash Machine. So I want to definitely talk to you guys about it. Give you my points, my thoughts, kind of going more in depth, and let's go and jump into it, people. So yeah, that's right. The Smash Machine starring Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt drops this weekend, October 3rd. And I want to break this video into three parts. First, we're going to talk about the movie and the documentary that the movie's based off of. Talk about the actual cast, and last, we're going to talk about the actual UFC, the fight, MMA, Pride FC, and so forth. Discuss that. So let's go ahead and jump into it, people. So yes, the movie, if you don't know, I'm about to show it to you. But first, before I get into it, I want to thank Fonz PR for this awesome Smashing Machine shirt. This is cool. I fucking love it. Yeah, bitch. This is a great shirt. I love it. It's an awesome shirt. So yes, the Smash Machine is based off the 2002 HBO documentary of the same name, Smash Machine. And of course, it's about a UFC fighter or MMA fighter named Mark Kerr. And one thing about this movie, okay, so just remember this. This is not a MMA, UFC, Pride FC movie. This is a movie about pretty much not just Mark Kerr. It's about his now wife, Dawn, and his, I would say, best friend / competitor, Matt Coleman. Okay, so it's kind of about all three of them, you know, and what they've gone through. Because as Mark as the centerfold, and the things around him is happening, which involve other people and their lives and so forth. Okay, that's also what the documentary is about. So the movie, it's, I would say, if you haven't seen the documentary, I would highly suggest go watch the documentary. Please watch it before you watch the movie, because I would say 90% of the movie is the documentary. They do remove some things from the documentary to and not add to the movie, but they do add things that's not in the documentary in the movie, shall I say. And there was one thing I was waiting for that was discussed in the documentary, and I knew they were going to do this, show this thing, and I was waiting for that. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. What I was waiting for. So the documentary, like I said, it talks about this man Mark Kerr and everything he's gone through. It's pretty much kind of his rise of who he was, who he is, and who he becomes to be today, and so forth. And he went through a lot. It's crazy because the documentary shows, in the movie as well, it shows this. It's like he's two different people. When he's not in the ring, he's a whole different person. He's very caring, very loving. He cares about people's well-being. He's just a really overall good guy. He really is. He does have his demons, just like a normal person does. But when he gets into the ring, he's a whole different person. He does talk about that in the documentary a little bit about, you know, what he does, about hurting people and so forth. And that's also kind of this done in the movie as well by The Rock. And it's crazy to see how just the early days of MMA, UFC, and Pride FC was back in. And so the movie takes place pretty much from 97 to 2000. I was in high school. I graduated high school in 98. So the movie takes place between, like I said, 97 to 2000. And it's kind of showing the comeuppings of these brutal, violent sports out there that people were trying to ban. They didn't want to come out to the mainstream and so forth. But like I said, the documentary is so phenomenal. It really is like one of the best documentaries you will ever see in your life. It really is. Because they go full in depth into what Mark is dealing with when it comes to the abuse of drugs and the opioids and the painkillers, and not just the pill, but the liquid painkillers like the injections. Oh boy, oh, if I'm telling you, if you watch the documentary, you're gonna be like, wow, like this man here was like, he was on it, like he didn't want to feel no pain. He just didn't want to feel no pain. And like I said, they do talk about that a little bit. They talk about some, not as much as you would think in the movie. But it's also a documentary. Also, it's talking about Mark Coleman. I said Matt, excuse me. Mark Coleman. Like I said, he was one of the pioneers as well with Mark Kerr when it comes to MMA. You know, he kind of went through his struggles and, you know, kind of get not a fighter, left, became a trainer, back into fighting again, and so forth. And then as well as Dawn, who, like I said, ended up being Mark's wife. Her issue with kind of alcoholism, she was kind of nagging here and there. Like, she was just like, it just sucks, like, because she was just like, it's like she wanted Mark off for herself and didn't want to share him to the world, almost. Kind of what I got from the documentary. And, you know, he's trying to focus on these fights and everything, but she just wanted to be in the spotlight with him. But you really can't as a fighter because you got to do it all alone. And like I said, it's phenomenal. And when it comes to the movie side of it, like I said, the movie is about almost 2 hours, should I say, close to 2 hours. And like I said, they don't mention a lot of things in the documentary. But the things they do add, like I said, one thing I was waiting for, there's an argument that Mark Kerr discusses in a documentary between him and his then girlfriend Dawn, and how it erupted and got crazy violent and crazy, just insane. They show that moment, and I was like, oh my God, this is wild. What I saw. It's crazy. I know the movie, it's not the full scope of it, but just, I guess, the idea of that probably times 10 for what really happened was like, wow, like this is crazy. Like it's insane. But like I said, I enjoyed the movie. There's certain parts of the movie, if you don't watch the documentary, you would not understand. Or not understand, but you may not get, because the movie does jump. So the pacing is kind of all over the place a little bit, but then there's times where it's like, okay, we're here, but then we get to here. It's like, hold on, there's something missing here. What am I missing? Like, how did we get here to here to here? Like, I need more context. So yeah, so just be aware of that, because you may like figure out, why did that happen? I don't get that. But once you watch the documentary, you were like, oh, okay, I see where we are in the timeline. I got you now. So just be prepared for that situation, okay? I'm just letting you know now. And there's a pretty cool cameo at the very end. I wish there was more. I really wish the cameo added more to it. Okay, I'm not going to say what it is, but I just wish there was something else to add it with the cameo along with it, because it does happen at the end of the movie. It's maybe the last 5 minutes of the movie. And it's really cool to see. It just really is awesome little, I guess, nod, just kind of like, just, you know, just about Mark Kerr himself. Showing, like I said, where he is today. So that was pretty cool to see. But like I said, overall, it really is a phenomenal movie. It really is. This movie gonna probably get nominated for at least 5 Oscars. Best Director, Best Movie, Best Actor, Rock, Best Actress, Emily Blunt, and Adapted Screenplay. Maybe Sound Editing. Those would be the ones I would say may get nominated for. Are they going to win? The only one out of all those that have a chance to probably win, Emily Blunt, Adapted Screenplay, and The Rock could be the the wild card in that, depending on who else is nominated. The Rock could be the wild card if he gets nominated, which he should, but will he win for Best Director? I doubt it very much. Best Movie? I completely doubt it for Best Movie. So, on that aspect of it. But like I said, overall, the movie is, it really is a great movie. It's not just a sports movie, people. It's a movie about a guy that's gone through struggles in his life, and he tries to do the best he can. That's what we all trying to do. We're trying to get through things in life the best way we can. Sometimes things sidetrack us, we got to deal with, and you have to take care of in your life to get better and so forth. That's life. That's how it is. You just have to kind of roll with it and learn from it, get better, and move forward, to do the best you can. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the actors in this movie. So, The Rock. After watching the documentary, I had a high bar, fucking high bar for The Rock to succeed. And he fucking did it. When I saw The Rock on screen, I did not see Dwayne Johnson. I saw Mark Kerr. It was funny that when they announced when they announced the fighters to the ring, of course they announced the weight and size and so forth. Mark Kerr is 6'1". The Rock is fucking not. He's 6'6", 6'7". He's a big motherfucker, okay? He's huge. So it's pretty funny that they say 6'1", Mark Kerr, you're gonna Rock like, bitch, you are not 6'1". Okay, anyway. But The Rock killed it. His mannerisms. He couldn't get the voice because Mark Kerr actually has much more of a higher pitched voice. Maybe on the side of maybe like Patrick Mahomes a little bit. Not Kermit the Frog type, but just a little bit higher pitched. But The Rock tried, so I give him that. Like I said, mannerisms, the way he looks, of course, the way his body is. He's, got the pack on down. And he really did a phenomenal job. He put his all into it. I could tell that he really did. He definitely went in and he wanted to honor Mark Kerr with this performance, and I think he honestly did. Like, he really was able to put everything in the way he needed to be to become Mark Kerr overall. So I definitely appreciated that part of it, especially when it comes to which is besides this, the actual makeup and the things they put on his face and stuff like that. He just was crazy. It's just the way it looked, and being, of course, back in the 90s, 97, 98 time frame, 99. You had, he always wore his pants tucked in. I mean, his shirt tucked in, a hat like that, pop collar shirt and so forth. Back then in the late 90s, dudes were big. It was big, like the fighters. And so it was a great time, the 90s. It was a great time. But overall, I really enjoyed the performance. He killed it. He knocked out the park. He was phenomenal. I really hope he gets nominated. He better get nominated for this shit. He really does. Emily Blunt, I think she's going to win for this fucking movie. I really do. Because she played the fuck out that role. Alcoholic, nagging wife. Who knew? It's like, but she put in the work as well. And what's crazy is if you watch the documentary, look at Dawn, the real life Dawn, and see Emily Blunt, they kind of look alike, which is crazy. They look alike too. It's another one too. She got her mannerisms down, the way they did with her look, her hair, her outfits, and so forth. Like, she did a great job, and just being that person that kind of deep dive into, hey, I'm gonna support this man, but at the same time too, I feel like I need to be the center of attention, and she was able to bring it out. I guess like most women, but like I said, she did a phenomenal job with everything she had to do, offer her emotions. She had to be vulnerable a few times, and kind of, I could tell maybe a few times on set, like on certain scenes, was like, oh, this is gonna be a lot, like to go into depth for this person and kind of bring out this side of her, of the real life person. So I could imagine she kind of went through stuff. Same thing for The Rock, who became Mark Kerr. So you also have the other cast. You actually have the real trainer. His name is Boz. He actually really trained Mark Kerr. He's actually back. He's in the movie as himself, And as crazy as a man is in his late 60s, early 70s, and that motherfucker's cut. He is cut like a... That motherfucker is cut. There's a scene where they show him with his shirt off. I'm like, bro, how the fuck you in your late 60s and you fucking look like that? Like, what the hell? Like, come on, man. Like, bro, just crazy. But like I said, the cast was pretty awesome. I got to see who the guy actually played. Mark Kerr. I'm sorry, not Mark Kerr. Excuse me, Mark Coleman. Let's see here. Smash Machine. Who was that actually played him? Real fast here. Let's see here, people, real fast. Because he did a great job as Mark Coleman. That's another one, like, he has issues. Just kind of, want to be the best himself. A heavyweight champion for UFC or for MMA or for Pride. Ryan Bader, that's his name. Ryan Bader played Mark Kerr. Mark Coleman, should I say. It's funny, both names Mark. And his name is Bas Rutten. And like I said, he's awesome. But yeah, the cast was amazing. They did their job. The fight scenes was, the fight scenes was pretty intense. Like when you taking a fucking knee to the head and a knee to the fucking ribs, and they was putting in work. And if I did watch an interview where the Rock said, no, that was him. There was no stunt double. He took those punches. He took those hits. Like, boy, just like I could have been a fucking fighter, an MMA fighter. No, I get my ass whipped. Fuck that shit. Not this guy. But like I said, overall, the cast did an amazing job on this aspect of it. So I think you guys gonna be very happy about everything that they was able to achieve when it comes to the cast and so forth. Now let's go ahead real fast discuss, since we're now toward the end of the video, getting there, the actual UFC, Pride, MMA, just combat sports in general. Like I said before, this takes place in between 97 to 2000, and actually during that time, UFC was struggling in the US. Like literally, they was like couldn't get their feet off the fucking ground. While that was happening, you had fucking MMA taking off overseas in Brazil and Japan, as well as Pride FC, Pride Fighting Championship. And it's not that Pride, people. Okay, get your mind together. It's not that kind of Pride. It's Pride Fighting Championships. Okay, two different things. This came first. Okay, this came first. And you had your notable fighters back then that was very well known. Like I said, for the UFC, you have, besides Mark Coleman, Randy Couture, who was a badass in his day, Victor Belfort, who was a badass in his day, Tito Ortiz, badass back in his day. Those guys was breakout stars in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then once you got to the actual MMA, the mixed martial arts, a lot of those guys went toward that route. Especially you had a lot of Japanese and Brazilian fighters embrace that, and then you also had a lot of American fighters want to embrace that too as well. And because this is one thing I didn't know is that the reason why they came up with MMA, because I guess when you have the no holds bar, they kind of wanted to get rid of that name and have something that's more well known for MMA. And then while this is all going on over in fucking Japan, you have Pride Championships where that's where you had the Mark Kerrs, the Mark Colemans, Igor Varchanian. That motherfucker was bad. Watch documentary. That bitch, Igor, that motherfucker was bad. That boy could fight. And so, a lot of these Americans and other people from all over the world went there because of the money it was making, the notoriety, just being not really worshipped, but I guess you could say that. for what they are. That's one thing about fighting in Japan. Like, they love their combat sports overseas in Japan. They really do. From like New Japan, which is wrestling, you have stuff like this with the privacy. They love their combat sports. They love to watch other people, as well as Japanese people, beat the shit out of each other. But no problem. They fucking love it. Always have, always will. But they definitely, was big stars and able to see the world, or actually make this product grow to where what you see today for the billions of dollars that UFC is in, of course, and of course MMA and Pride and such. Like, just these people here I mentioned to you are the ones that was able to get those programs, those companies off the ground and make them to what they are today. Okay, you wouldn't have fighters today if you didn't have people like the Mark Kerrs, the Mark Colemans, the Randy Couture's, the Tito Ortiz's. You wouldn't have it. And so, UFC is a violent sport. Now you have Power Slap, which is another thing for a violent combat sport, if you want to call it that. But yeah, just this dynamic, this sport, if you call it a sport, has taken off, and it's not going nowhere, people. It's really not. It's going to probably get more violent than it was 20 years ago, 25 years ago, back in the 90s when this came out. So definitely, shows appreciation to where I couldn't do this shit, never will, never have. And you got to be a strong-willed man or woman to get your ass beat like once every 2-3 months and come back and want more another 2-3 months from now. Oh, boy. Yeah. So, crazy stuff, man. Crazy shit. But yeah, people, that's my little thoughts and explanation, and this is my review of The Smash Machine, discussing the documentary, the cast, the whole MMA as a whole. So yeah, hope you guys like this video. If you do, give us a thumbs up. I see on the screen right now. Don't forget to like and share the videos with other people. So yeah, people, and I will see you next time for another Raw Uncensored review. Don't know what movie will be next, but it'll be one soon. So peace.